Yo, what's up guys? Today, I'm going to be showing you guys some of the best ways to improve your endgames in Fortnite so that you win every single one. Some of the strategies shown in this video have never been seen before, so hopefully they can make you guys some better endgame players. The first way that you can improve your endgames is simply by improving your tarping, since especially in duos, and if you're in IGL, this is going to be how you get from one part of zone to the next without taking damage. There are three main styles of tarps that you should learn, the first of which is a simple forwards tarp. Usually you want to try to place two walls on the sides, but you can also place the wall in the middle if you want. You can also change this variation by going to the side one instead of just straight forward. The next style of tarp is a cheap tarp, which is what you're going to use when you don't have a lot of mats. The way this works is by just putting a floor and then a stair behind you once you're on the front of the floor. Last but not least, you have a protected tarp where you can elevate layers. This is really useful in endgame when you're on low ground and you need to get off. The way it works is just by putting high walls around yourself and a stair behind you to protect yourself. Now, most training maps don't have this, but Resub's training map has this feature in the aim section called the High Ground Master, which is where you can practice your aim when you're on high ground. Excuse my aim here, I was not warmed up at all when I recorded this. But anyways, in endgame, when you're on height, you need to practice hitting your shots to make sure that no one else looks up at you, and this is probably the best scenario to do it, and it's also the most realistic. When you start practicing in this map, make sure to take all of the weapons that you might use in an endgame. It doesn't matter if it's a burst, an AR, even a pistol, because you might use all of them and it's just good to get practice with everything. In the high ground mode, you can also set it to realistic, which is going to place real builds there, but I like the simplistic mode better just because it's easier to actually see the bots. However, if you do want practice looking for and actually finding the people that you're going to shoot in endgame, realistic mode might be better for you. Next up, you're going to practice your phase-ins, because if you hit someone for quite a bit of damage, the easiest way to finish the fight and get your refresh is going to be just through phasing into their box. If I were you, I would practice trying to get in from every single angle possible, whether it's from the stair, from a cone, from the top, because you never know what's going to happen in a real endgame, and if you need a refresh, then you're going to wish you would practice something else. Now we're going to go into solo cup endgame, the most realistic endgame practice, but I have a little twist that'll probably help you guys practice for more realistic endgames. So what you're going to do is, once you box up, you're going to split all of your mats and all of your heals, and this is going to help you practice for more realistic endgames, because in endgames, when you're stacked, it's not that much of an issue, but when you're scuffed, those are the endgames that you need to make count. So this will help you practice playing an endgame with more realistic heals, more realistic mats. This is also going to force you to look for more refreshes and earlier, which is going to help your overall endgame fighting. Now, I don't think anyone has ever said this before, and I think this is a unique idea, especially for endgames, so hopefully you guys can try it and it'll work for you as well. Now, let's get into the second part of the video, where I talk about some general tips for endgame that can help you guys improve immediately. The first of which is to always stick to one side of the zone. Whenever you're in the middle of zone, it's very easy for you to get focused from both sides, which can cause you dying earlier than you want. This applies especially when you're on like a low to mid ground layer, because that's where a lot of the people are going to be, so you don't want to be in the middle of those zones. The next piece of advice that I have for you guys is to tarp in a little bit farther than you need to, especially in duos. For example, say you're ending first moving zone, and instead of making one box on the edge of zone and just sitting on that corner, you could make two more boxes in, especially if you have the mats. This is going to help you prepare for another far pull, and if it does, you're going to be ahead of the rest of the lobby. And the third tip that I have for you guys to improve your endgame is to make sure that you're always staying front side. Especially on low ground, you need to stay at the absolute front of zone, especially if you're the IGL. Let your fragger worry about staying backside and looking for refreshes, but you have to make sure that you stake your claim to frontside low, or else someone else will drop down to take it from you. And finally, the last tip that I have for you guys to improve your endgames is to look for refreshes early. Even when you still have 800, 500 builds, look for a refresh, because it's going to be too late when you only have 5 builds and you need to hop in someone's box. You should always be looking back or down to see if there's anyone running behind you that you can catch out. Especially with the Chaos Reloader shotgun, it's so easy to hit someone for 100, and if they're weak, then you can get a free refresh. However, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So make sure to look for refreshes and try to get opportunities, because you never know what might happen. Anyways guys, that's all I have for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!